What if I told you that the way you move your body today could decide whether you'll remember your children's faces 20 years from now? Sounds dramatic, right? But it's not. It's biological truth. Every heartbeat, every breath, every step you take sends life to the brain that shapes your identity, your memories, your stories. The things that make you depend on how well that brain is nourished. Yet we often treat our bodies as if they're separate from our minds, as if the brain somehow floats above it all, unaffected by what we eat, how we move, or how we live. Here's the truth. Your brain and body are in constant conversation. Every decision you make, what you eat, how long you sit, how deeply you sleep, sends a message to your brain, either saying, grow stronger, or begin to fade. And the frightening part, most people don't realize that dementia doesn't suddenly appear in your 70s or 80s. It starts quietly, years, sometimes decades, before the first symptom shows. It starts when we stop challenging our minds, when we stop moving our bodies, when we tell ourselves we're too busy, too tired, too late. Think about this. How many people do you know who fear losing their memory, but live in ways that drain it daily? Hours of sitting, little movement, high stress, poor sleep. We scroll more than we stroll. We stare at screens more than we connect with people. And we call this normal. But normal has become dangerous. The good news, the hope, is that it doesn't take complex medicine or expensive treatments to protect your mind. It takes awareness, small, consistent action. You don't need a gym membership or a 10-step plan. You just need to start valuing your brain the same way you value your appearance, your career, your relationships, because everything you love depends on that 3-pound miracle in your head. Imagine waking up each day and knowing you're actively building a brain that resists decline, a brain that stays sharp, creative, joyful. Imagine being 80 and still remembering the smell of your first home, the sound of your best friend's laughter, the words of a song that shaped your youth. That's not a fantasy, it's biology responding to daily choices. So when I ask, what if the way you move your body today could decide whether you remember your children's faces 20 years from now? I'm not trying to scare you, I'm trying to wake you up. Because the truth is, prevention doesn't start in hospitals. It starts in your everyday habits, in the moments when you decide to stand instead of sit, to walk instead of scroll, to rest instead of rush. The future of your brain is being written right now, and you hold the pen. We often think dementia is something that just happens with age, a cruel lottery that no one can predict or prevent. Let's be honest. That belief is comforting because it removes responsibility. It tells us there's nothing we can do. Yet science keeps shouting the opposite. Dementia isn't just about age. It's about lifestyle. It's about years of choices, what we eat, how much we move, how we handle stress, how deeply we sleep, how often we challenge our minds. Researchers have discovered that nearly 40% of dementia cases could be prevented or delayed by simple, consistent lifestyle changes. 40%! That means the brain's destiny isn't fixed, it's flexible. It responds to care, it responds to challenge, it responds to movement. Your daily decisions are like tiny votes for the kind of brain you'll live with in the future. But here's where most people get it wrong. They wait for warning signs, forgetfulness, confusion, trouble finding words before they take action. By then, the damage has already started. The real work of prevention happens long before symptoms appear. It starts when your brain is still strong, when your memory still feels sharp. That's when the foundation is built. Think of your brain like a garden. If you wait until the soil is dry, the roots are weak, and the weeds have taken over, it's much harder to save it. But if you water it, feed it, and protect it daily, it thrives for decades. Your neurons are the same way. They grow or they decay depending on how much nourishment and stimulation they get. So when people say dementia is inevitable, I say, no, it's not inevitable. It's preventable. And that's both empowering and urgent. The habits that protect your heart, your muscles, and your mood are the same habits that protect your brain. Movement, nutrition, sleep, learning, connection. These are not luxuries, they're brain insurance. You can't change your genetics, but you can absolutely change your biology. You can strengthen your brain's resilience through action. Every walk, every deep night's sleep, every moment you spend learning something new, you're literally rewriting your brain's future. So stop thinking of dementia as an unavoidable tragedy and start seeing it as a challenge you can outsmart. Because the truth is, the brain is not a victim of time, it's a student of your lifestyle. And it listens carefully to every choice you make. Here's the shocking part. The fighty one simple way to stop dementia before it starts isn't found in a pill, a supplement, or some futuristic therapy. It's movement. Regular, consistent oxygen-boosting movement, the kind that gets your heart beating just a little faster, your blood flowing a little stronger, your body waking up with purpose. Exercise, yes. That word we've heard 1,000 times but often ignore isn't just about muscles or looks, it's about memory. It's about keeping your brain alive, sharp, and resilient. Your brain is the most energy-demanding organ in your entire body. Even though it makes up only about 2% of your weight, it consumes about 20% of all the oxygen and blood your body produces. That means it's constantly hungry for movement, hungry for circulation, hungry for vitality. When you move your body, you're not just strengthening your heart, you're feeding your brain. You're sending it fresh oxygen, rich nutrients, and a surge of growth factors that help your neurons stay strong and connected. Think of your brain like a city filled with billions of lights, your neurons. Every time you move, it's like you're turning more of those lights on. You create energy, activity, life. But when you stay still for too long, when you sit for hours and let your body slow down, it's like the city starts going dark one block at a time. Less blood flow means less oxygen. Less oxygen means more waste. More waste means slower thinking, foggy memory, and eventually decline. Wendy Suzuki, in her powerful book, Healthy Brain, Happy Life, says that even one single workout can immediately boost focus, improve mood, and sharpen memory. Just one. That's how responsive your brain is to movement. Exercise increases something called BDNF, brain-derived neurotrophic factor, a natural chemical your body produces that acts like fertilizer for your neurons. It helps them grow new connections, repair old ones, and protect themselves from damage. Scientists call it miracle grow for the brain, and you can trigger it with nothing more complicated than a brisk walk. So, if there was a pill that could lower your risk of dementia by half, improve your focus, boost your mood, and strengthen your memory, everyone would take it. But here's the truth. You already have that pill. It's movement. No prescription required, no cost, no side effects, only benefits. Every step you take is a signal to your brain saying, I'm alive, I'm active, I'm here. Every time you choose the stairs over the elevator, take a walk instead of scrolling, or stretch instead of slumping, you're giving your brain the oxygen it needs to thrive. You're not just preventing dementia, you're investing in a sharper, more vibrant version of yourself. Movement isn't punishment, it's medicine. It's renewal. And the best part, you don't need hours in a gym. You just need consistency. 20 minutes a day can be the difference between a fading mind and a flourishing one. So move, not because you have to, but because your brain is counting on you to. Why does movement matter so much for the brain? Because every step you take is a delivery system, an act of nourishment. Your brain doesn't store energy the way your muscles do. It relies on constant blood flow to bring in oxygen and glucose, the fuels that keep your neurons firing. When that flow slows down, even slightly, your brain starts to suffer. Memory weakens. Focus slips. Mood darkens. Over time, the structures responsible for learning and recall begin to shrink. Movement, however, is like opening all the valves again. When your heart pumps harder, blood surges through your arteries, carrying oxygen and nutrients to every corner of your brain. It's like giving your neurons a power wash, clearing out waste, rejuvenating tired cells, and refreshing circuits that may have been dormant. There's a beautiful dance that happens in the body when you move. Your muscles contract, your heart beats faster, and your lungs expand to pull in more oxygen. That oxygen travels straight to your brain, energizing cells in the hippocampus, the area responsible for memory and navigation. It's no coincidence that people who walk regularly have larger hippocampi and perform better on memory tests. Exercise literally grows your brain, and here's something most people don't realize. The brain loves rhythm. The steady pattern of walking, breathing, and moving sends a calming signal through your nervous system. It balances stress hormones, boosts endorphins, and releases dopamine, the neurotransmitter that fuels motivation and focus. That's why you think more clearly after a walk, why ideas suddenly connect, why problems that felt heavy start to seem solvable. You're not just moving your body, you're aligning your mind. Sedentary living, on the other hand, is silent sabotage. Hours of sitting compress blood vessels, slow circulation, and lower oxygen levels in the brain. Over time, this chronic stillness sets the stage for decline. It's not dramatic, it's quiet and gradual, like a dimmer switch slowly turning down the lights. But the damage adds up. The less we move, the less fuel our brains get. Movement reverses that. Even small amounts of physical activity, 10 minutes of stretching, a brisk walk, climbing stairs, light dancing spark profound effects inside your brain. They increase neuroplasticity, the brain's ability to form new pathways. They improve insulin sensitivity, reducing inflammation that harms neurons. They even boost the release of nitric oxide, which keeps blood vessels flexible and open, ensuring your brain stays well fed for decades to come. So when I say movement is medicine, I mean it quite literally. Every time you move, you're teaching your body how to protect your mind. You're building stronger connections, flushing out toxins, and telling your brain, stay alive, stay alert, stay young. And the most powerful part, it doesn't take a marathon. Just 20 minutes a day of deliberate movement can transform the way your brain ages. Because your brain's vitality depends on one thing above all else: circulation. Blood flow is brain flow, movement is memory. But movement alone isn't the full story. The brain is built and rebuilt by what you feed it. Every bite you take either fuels your neurons or fogs them. Think about that. Your food choices today can literally sculpt your brain's future. The nutrients you give your body become the raw materials that construct new brain cells, repair damaged ones, and regulate the chemistry of mood, memory, and focus. The foods that protect your heart also protect your brain. Diets rich in leafy greens, berries, nuts, olive oil, fatty fish, and colorful vegetables have been shown to dramatically lower the risk of cognitive decline. The Mediterranean and MeND diets, both backed by solid science, aren't about restriction, they're about nourishment. They emphasize real whole foods that calm inflammation, balance blood sugar, and keep blood vessels open and flexible so your brain stays well fed. Inflammation, on the other hand, is like slow brain rust. It creeps in through processed foods, refined sugars, trans fats, and constant stress. Over time, it damages the very connections that allow you to think, remember, and learn. And here's the thing, most people don't even feel it happening. You don't wake up one day with inflammation pain in your brain. It just quietly erodes your clarity. When you eat brain-boosting foods, you turn that process around. Antioxidants in berries protect neurons from damage. Omega-3 fats in fish and walnuts strengthen cell membranes and support communication between brain cells. Green vegetables deliver folate and magnesium, which are crucial for cognitive function. And dark chocolate, yes, real, minimally processed dark chocolate, improves blood flow and stimulates the release of dopamine, that feel-good molecule your brain loves. What's fascinating is how quickly food affects your mental state. Within hours of eating a nourishing meal, your brain chemistry shifts. You feel more alert, more focused, more balanced. Your brain doesn't just survive on good food, it thrives on it. Dr. Lisa Mosconi, a neuroscientist and author of Brain Food, puts it beautifully. The brain isn't just a passive recipient of nutrition, it's an organ that actively demands it. It knows what it needs to grow, to repair, to stay young. And when we consistently give it that, it rewards us with clarity, energy, and long-term resilience. So the next time you eat, pause and ask yourself, is this feeding my future memory? Because every meal is either building a stronger brain or slowly breaking it down. You don't need a perfect diet. You just need consistent, mindful choices. More color, more plants, more healthy fats, more hydration, fewer chemicals, fewer sugars, fewer processed shortcuts. Remember, food isn't just fuel. It's instruction. Every bite tells your brain how to function, how to heal, how to age. You can't outthink a bad diet, but you can absolutely outsmart dementia with a good one. And then there's one of the most overlooked pillars of brain health, sleep. The thing most people sacrifice first, yet it's the very thing your brain begs for the most. We tend to treat sleep as optional, like an inconvenient pause in our day. But in truth, it's the most powerful form of daily brain maintenance we have. You can eat well, move regularly, even manage stress, but if you're not sleeping deeply and long enough, your brain never truly resets. While you sleep, your brain goes into repair mode. It's not resting, it's working. It's filing memories, clearing waste, rebalancing chemicals, and strengthening neural connections. Think of it as a nightly cleansing system. During deep sleep, a special network in your brain called the glymphatic system activates. It flushes out toxins, including beta amyloid, the very substance that builds up to form plaques linked to Alzheimer's disease. When you skip sleep or cut it short, that cleaning crew doesn't show up. The toxins stay, slowly accumulating, silently sabotaging your memory and focus. Dr. Matthew Walker, author of Why We Sleep, describes it perfectly. Sleep is the single most effective thing you can do to reset your brain and body health each day. Just one night of poor sleep can reduce your brain's ability to form new memories by up to 40%. Imagine studying, working, or even holding conversations while your brain's filing system is on strike. It's impossible to function at your best. And it's not just about quantity, but quality. The slow wave stage is when your body heals, your hormones rebalance, and your brain processes information from the day. REM sleep, the dream stage, helps with creativity, emotional regulation, and learning. Miss either of these, and you start to notice the cracks, brain fog, mood swings, forgetfulness, slower reaction times. Over time, that becomes chronic cognitive decline. Here's what's even more fascinating. Sleep isn't just a passive process. Your daily habits shape it. Exposure to morning sunlight, limiting caffeine after noon, keeping a consistent bedtime all teach your brain when it's time to rest. Darkness triggers melatonin, a natural signal that it's time to power down. And keeping devices out of the bedroom. That's not just a wellness tip, it's neuroscience. Blue light from screens tells your brain it's still daytime, tricking it into staying alert when it should be winding down. So, if you want to protect your brain, guard your sleep like treasure. Make it sacred. Prioritize it the way you prioritize eating or working out. Because every night of deep, uninterrupted rest is an investment in a sharper, cleaner, stronger brain. When you close your eyes and surrender to sleep, you're not being lazy, you're being strategic. You're giving your brain the one gift it can't get anywhere else, the chance to heal itself. Sleep isn't the end of your day, it's the beginning of your brain's renewal. And then, there's another powerful yet often invisible force shaping your brain health: connection. Loneliness, stress, and emotional isolation are far more toxic to the brain than most people realize. We often think of dementia as purely a biological issue, something caused by damaged neurons or genetics. But the truth is, your emotional world, your relationships, your sense of belonging, your daily stress levels directly affects how your brain ages. Chronic stress floods your brain with cortisol, a hormone designed for short bursts of danger, but disastrous when it lingers for too long. High cortisol over months or years literally shrinks the hippocampus, the part of your brain that forms and stores memories. That's why people under constant stress often say, "I can't think straight," or "I keep forgetting things." It's not imagination, it's chemistry. Stress starves your brain of clarity, and loneliness. It's been called the new smoking because it's just as damaging as lighting up 15 cigarettes a day. Studies from Harvard and other top research institutions show that social isolation increases the risk of dementia, heart disease, and early death. When you're disconnected, your brain loses stimulation. It starts to withdraw, almost as if it's fading in the absence of emotional oxygen. But connection, real, meaningful connection, reverses that. Talking with people you care about, sharing laughter, expressing gratitude, or even engaging in small acts of kindness all release oxytocin and serotonin, chemicals that soothe stress and strengthen neural communication. Every conversation, every shared smile, every genuine hug literally lights up your brain in ways no supplement can. We were never designed to live alone in silence or behind screens. The human brain evolved in community, in shared stories, shared meals, shared challenges. Social connection gives your brain feedback. It reminds you who you are and keeps your cognitive circuits active and alive. That's why older adults who stay socially engaged, volunteering, mentoring, joining clubs, staying connected with family, maintain sharper memory and slower rates of decline than those who isolate. And it's not about having hundreds of friends or a perfect social life. It's about depth, not numbers. One honest conversation with someone who truly listens is worth more than 100 casual interactions online. Your brain craves emotional authenticity, not digital noise. So if you want to protect your mind, nurture your heart, pick up the phone and call someone. Go for a walk with a friend. Spend time around people who energize you. Engage, connect, listen, laugh. Because every moment of genuine human connection strengthens your mental resilience. You can eat the best food, move every day, and sleep deeply. But if you live disconnected, your brain still suffers. Because what keeps the brain alive isn't just blood flow, it's belonging. And when you feed your need for connection, you're not just healing your emotions, you're strengthening your memory, your focus, and your will to live fully. There's another key to protecting your brain that doesn't come from diet, exercise, or sleep. It's mental challenge. Your brain was built to grow, to adapt, to stretch. It's a learning machine. But when we stop giving it new tasks, it starts to rust. Neurons that aren't used begin to disconnect. Pathways that once lit up with curiosity begin to fade. And that's when decline begins, not because of age, but because of inactivity. Think about this, your brain is like a muscle. If you stop using it, it weakens. But if you challenge it, if you learn, create, explore, and problem solve, it grows stronger. This is called neuroplasticity, the brain's remarkable ability to rewire and form new connections at any age. It means you can literally train your brain to stay young. Every new skill you learn, whether it's a language, an instrument, or even a hobby like painting or dancing, stimulates fresh neural growth. Dr. Norman Duhigg, in his groundbreaking book, The Brain That Changes Itself, explains that the brain is not fixed, it's fluid. It rewires based on what we do, what we think, and what we practice. When you learn something new, your brain forms new circuits. When you repeat it, those circuits strengthen. When you stop, they weaken. It's a who's it or lose it organ, and that's both the challenge and the opportunity. Mental stimulation doesn't have to mean studying textbooks or solving equations. It can be as simple as trying a new recipe, learning to play a song, taking a different route to work, or reading a book in a genre you've never explored. Every time you step outside your mental comfort zone, your brain wakes up, it grows, it adapts, it gets younger. Even conversation is powerful brain training. When you discuss ideas, share opinions, or listen actively, your brain processes language, emotion, logic, and memory all at once. That's a full body workout for your neurons. Now imagine what happens when we do the opposite. When our days become predictable, when our routines never change, when every evening looks exactly like the one before, the brain begins to idle, it gets comfortable, and comfort slowly becomes decline. That's why retirees who stop learning, stop exploring, often feel their minds slipping faster than those who keep challenging themselves. So make curiosity your daily vitamin, ask questions, learn something new, play games that stretch your memory and logic, read, write, explore, challenge your brain the way you challenge your body at the gym. You don't need to be a genius. You just need to stay interested, because the moment you stop learning, your brain starts aging. But when you stay curious, when you engage your mind with new ideas and skills, you're not just keeping your brain busy. You're keeping it alive. Curiosity is the exercise that never lets the mind grow old. And finally, all comes down to one simple but powerful truth. The mindset you bring to your daily life determines whether your brain decays or thrives. You can know everything about food, movement, sleep, and learning, but if your mindset is built on stress, hopelessness, or resistance to change, none of it will stick. The key is not just doing the right things, it's believing that you can change your brain and seeing brain health as an act of self-respect, not self-punishment. The people who age gracefully, who stay sharp into their 80s and 90s, share a common trait: they believe their actions matter. They live with a sense of agency. They know that every small choice, a walk, a meal, a night of good sleep, is a vote for the kind of future they want to remember. That mindset doesn't just change habits, it changes biology. Optimism, purpose, and gratitude have measurable effects on brain chemistry. They lower stress hormones, boost dopamine and serotonin, and even improve immune function. Think about this: your thoughts are not just abstract, they're chemical. Every negative, fearful, or self-defeating thought floods your brain with stress hormones. Every hopeful, inspired, or grateful thought is the opposite. It strengthens the circuits that promote growth and balance. Your brain listens to what you think about it. It responds to your inner dialogue. So if you walk around believing, "I'm too old to change," your brain takes that as instruction. It slows its repair systems. It settles into decline. But if you start saying, "I can build a stronger mind, no matter my age," your brain activates those repair mechanisms. It starts rewiring, rebuilding, rejuvenating, because it believes what you tell it. The great psychologist Carol Dweck calls this the growth mindset, the belief that your abilities are not fixed, but expandable through effort and intention. When you apply that to brain health, everything changes. Exercise becomes nourishment, not obligation. Sleep becomes recovery, not laziness. Learning becomes joy, not struggle. You stop chasing quick fixes and start cultivating long-term habits that feel natural, sustainable, and even exciting. Here's the real secret: the goal isn't to fight aging. It's to cooperate with it, to honor it, to live in a way that supports your brain's natural rhythm instead of resisting it. You can't control time, but you can control how time treats your brain. So start today with one powerful shift. Instead of asking, "How can I avoid dementia?" ask, "How can I make my brain stronger, happier?" That one change in perspective turns prevention into empowerment. It transforms fear into motivation. Because the truth is, brain health isn't about avoiding loss. It's about building strength. It's about living with clarity, purpose, and vitality for as long as life allows. You already have everything you need: the body, the mind, and the power to choose. Your future memory isn't written yet. It's shaped by every thought, every step, every meal, every night of rest. protecting your brain doesn't start someday. It starts now with the belief that you can. And when you hold that belief, when you live it daily, you don't just stop dementia. You rewrite what aging means.